This is Totnes in Devon, which has been a thriving market town since Roman times. It has one central street that runs from the bottom of the town here, up through the clock tower there, to the market square at the top. Unlike most towns, Totnes still has a big variety of local independent shops. It has ironmongers and greengrocers, butchers and bakers, and many others. Totnes has survived in recent times despite the recession and the rise of supermarkets. Just over 18 months ago, Devon County Council, against the wishes of Totnes Council, decided to reverse part of the traffic system, which meant you could not enter the town at the bottom here and go straight on up. You had to go right round through the bypass and come into the side entrance to the town and make a choice of going up the street or back down here. And this has had a huge effect on trade and the prosperity of the town.
My name's Roy Apps. We've been trading here 27 years. I've virtually lost all my early in the morning trade because the way the dynamics of the new system is such that people have to go quite a way to actually get up to me now. They can't simply come in at the bottom of town, drive up the high street, stop, park, get a paper, cigarettes, whatever they choose to, and then drive off.
The trade's gone down because you can't get access to the high street as easily.
From a business point of view, from various businesses, it's cut off 10-15% of their turnover.
Shops have just been closing down, particularly down the bottom of town, and it seems to be working its way up.
I'm Sarah Kidd and I own the Barrel House Cafe at the bottom of the high street where older people used to park and get out of their cars and nip into places. That's pretty much dried up now and doesn't happen at all. It's just not a high street now where you have to be pretty determined if you're driving to come.
Well, I personally think it has made the town less viable because there are a certain number of shops which are closed.
Lawson's been trading in Totnes High Street since 1979. We trade in 4 shops in the southwest peninsula, and Tavistock is a very similar market town that we trade in, and it's currently on an upward trend of sales, where our Totnes shop is on a downward trend, and I'm certain that is the effect of the new traffic system in Totnes, which customers find so confusing.
Undoubtedly, there are less people walking around the town. Customer flow is 10% down, at least. Obviously, it's created a problem from my business point of view because wine is heavy. People need to drive around and collect their stock. Also, delivery vehicles have to now drive around twice. So the whole principle of why we should have changed the system has been negated by these other problems.
We did a survey and we asked very simple questions of all the traders, all the shops up and down the town, and 84% said that they were losing business dramatically.
One of the major effects that is consistent across the board is reduction in employment, reduction of staff levels.
It was my view, taking account of the range of evidence that I looked at, that the scheme was having a significant adverse impact on the economic character of the town, and I think that's definitely something that decision makers should be really taking into account.
Earlier this week, the street was filled with protesters heading up as cars used to in a procession.
Totnes has been a triumph because it's evolved slowly and carefully and retained its identity, which is why so many people across Britain and the world love it. This is a real threat. And I hope that those who have the final authority listen very closely to the views of the elected representatives of this town and also of those people whose livelihood is in it.
The Mayor of Totnes and others gave an impassioned speech at the Hattock Committee confirming that the Town Council had turned down this scheme. The Hattock and Devon County Council took no notice of that whatsoever and voted to impose the scheme on the town.
So now we have here at the entrance of the town, "Welcome to Totnes," and just above it is a no entry sign, so don't come in. It then says in a rather Lewis Carroll way, "Access to town centre, follow on street short stay." There is no indication of what that is or where it is anywhere in this part of town. Or perhaps you should just collect your P45 and go somewhere else. For those who do want to shop in Totnes, you now have to go around the bypass here and join the traffic that is coming from Torbay to Plymouth. And at certain times of the day, this causes huge congestion.
It's just caused a total backlog. It hasn't helped probably the high street. People can't nip in, and once you queue up for another half an hour, it could take you another 45 minutes just to get back into the system again.
This traffic jam now is blocking the fire station. Both the fire and ambulance services have written letters raising concerns that the new traffic system is causing delays in their response to emergency calls. Those who want to go into Totnes to shop now have to turn at this roundabout here and go up Station Road. And reaching now the High Street, cars have to make a choice of turning right to go up the High Street or left down the High Street, therefore dividing the town.
It's just not working. It's divided the town completely in two. Because of the traffic problems we have at the bottom part of the town here, it makes people realise once they decide to go along Station Road, they're either going to go up and down. They don't do both. Yeah. They can't do both because they spend too much time in the traffic jams at the bottom of the town. So of course this is affecting all the businesses.
People do have to use the car to get into the town, and any scheme which is making that more difficult and making it more difficult for people to pop into the town and do some shopping is going to have a negative impact on trade.
They no longer come here for their basic butchers, greengrocers and the like, and they used to, even though there were supermarkets around, because the specialist shops used to thrive.
Local services like Bob the Bus have also been affected.
You know, a lot of our clientele are elderly passengers who totally rely on us to pick them up from home and bring them into town. We used to, from the Seven Stars, go straight up 4th Street. You go right through 4th Street, High Street. Now you've got to go round a roundabout and go back down the way you come. And so part of the town, i.e. lower 4th Street, we can't get to. So like the post office, I can't drop them outside the post office, they have to walk. Right.
Thank you very much.
Also the same as a couple of banks as well, and they've got to get out and walk.
Well, if I'm delivering in 4th Street, which is at the bottom of town, it means I have to turn around and come down the town, stop and deliver, and then I have to go all the way around and sit in a queue, sometimes for 20 minutes. Then to deliver the top of town, I go all the way around and back up the other way. And the traffic's a nightmare, really.
I mean, I've been Mayor of Totnes, and I've also been Chair of the Chamber of Commerce and Trade here in Totnes, so I know it from every side as well as being in business here. So I know how it affects the town, and it never works. It never worked before, and it's not working now.
In 1976, they tried to stop the traffic going up through the main street. Well, it caused more chaos when they reversed it, so they had to stop doing it.
The thing that puzzles many people in Totnes as to why Devon County Council brought in the experimental traffic order. We understand they brought it in so that they could reduce accidents. Devon County Council said that the 7 fairly minor accidents that happened in 3 years was unacceptable. But since they brought in the ETO, there have been 5 accidents in just over half that time. And these accidents have actually been more serious. People don't know whether the traffic is going uptown or downtown. We understand that tourists actually are finding it more dangerous to walk up the street than they did previously.
It's killing Totnes. The only shops that can come in here will be charity shops.
And gift shops.
And gift shops. So the town will die on its feet. And all they could do is maybe just have a 10 mile an hour speed limit or something like that. I mean, it's not difficult. There are other ways of sorting the problem out.
Really, the way to deal with it would have been to slow the traffic down, traffic calming, share this space at walking pace.
Well, the shared space was the one thing that everybody seems to have agreed on, and it's critical that we actually have shared space brought in. It could make all the difference, and it would bring us together again.
I do believe Totnes is a very fragile ecosystem, if you like, and the thing is it does work, but you need to leave it alone.
This is a high street where commerce happens, and what's happened is you've stopped people being able to get on with the business of commerce.
Once you lose a shop, you can't get it back. You get a replacement, but you never get that business that has gone back again. And I think, you know, that is the risk that they seem to be willing to take, is that to let businesses fail before they decide, you know, that they've done something wrong.
The reality is market towns have to trade, they've got to be busy, and the idea that everybody can walk everywhere and be green for everything. That won't work in Totnes because 2/3 of the catchment of the town live outside the town, and they will have to drive into the town, and that's a reality. And if you remove that attractiveness of the town in terms of its accessibility, then it will just wither.
This number of people says everything. The fact that you've walked up the hill saying what you're saying. I have only some simple things to say. I'm a resident just outside the town. I live here, my family lives here, my wife works in the town. And I've been coming to Totnes for over half a century. And I've watched Totnes alongside seeing what has happened to other towns and communities up and down this country through my work. And I've seen the devastation that has been wrought by bad mistakes. I've seen the departure of small shops. The traders here are the lifeblood of this community and, of course, their customers.
I think the measures that the County Council have put in place are doing anything but protecting. I think they're really putting at risk this fantastic gem of a town that we have here.
I feel Devon County Council aren't listening. Because they're in charge of highways, they very much need to listen to their local councillors and their local people. And I think when they overrule a town council who know and understand a town intimately, they're doing the wrong thing.